What's up, guys? Hey, we're making our trip down to San Diego to go visit Bill at Delicious Tuning again. Leaving Las Vegas right now. Expected time to be there is about 4.5 hours. This is our second trip there. We are going back to finalize the details on the power plug module that we're working in development with Bill. In this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about the things I don't like about this car. We're not going to talk about that it's made by BMW partially. We're not going to talk about that it doesn't come in a manual transmission. We already know that. And we're not going to talk about all the fake vents. Those are things that we can't change. And I'm going to talk to you guys about stuff from a owner's perspective of owning this car. What I do like, what I don't like. The first thing on my list, one of the most annoying things to me, is the fake sound. I haven't heard anybody talk about it yet, but when you're sitting at idle, or at a traffic light, the sound is being pumped through these rear subwoofers when you're in sport mode. It just makes the car really fake sounding. It does sound good, but you kind of think there's more coming out the back end of the car than there actually is, and that's not actually the case. So I'm kind of annoyed by that. I'd rather not hear it. You can actually probably hear I wouldn't call it a drone, but you can actually hear the sound in the speakers now. Let me see if I can turn it off and see if there's a difference in the mic. Yeah, see how it's just really quiet now? Now it's back. I mean, we're getting some road noise here. Let me see if this lane's any better. Sound there. Now that sport mode's off, it's kind of gone. You can kind of hear like a little droning sound right now. We call it droning, but you can hear the exhaust. If I get on it a little bit, right there. So I'm gonna take the car out of sport mode. The sound kind of disappeared. I'm going to hit the throttle like I did before. Notice how it's quiet. Watch. So that is pre-amplified or pre-set up sound coming through the subwoofers. We're actually going to try to figure out how to unplug that. I believe the amplifier's in between the subwoofers. If you know where it's at, leave a comment below. Or if you've had similar experience on a BMW, let us know so we can save us some time figuring it out. Got about 2,000 miles on this car. We've driven it from Utah to Cali, back to Vegas from both of those locations. The second thing is a pro and a con about this car. The driver's assist is pretty annoying, but it's also pretty cool at the same time. The car will know the lane that you're in and it'll auto-correct. I've shown it in a previous video if you want to see exactly how that works, as well as the adaptive cruise control. It is annoying though, but it saves you. It will save you. If you happen to be doing something you're not supposed to be, paying attention to something else, and you kind of drift over, the car will veer back and get you back in your lane. Where it becomes annoying is when you're on the expressway, like me right now, there's no cars around, and I want to shift lanes. The car will do that, and I have to force it to go in my lane. It just makes me a better driver, I guess. I'm going to have to put my turn signal on every time I want to switch lanes so that I don't get the warning or I get the fight. Where it becomes the most annoying is during construction zones when the lanes are doing their thing. You really got to put your hands on both wheels and fight the car. So when we first picked up the car, it was raining and I wasn't familiar with the road. We picked up the car in Draper, Salt Lake City, Utah, and got on the expressway right away. Couldn't really see the lanes. It wasn't cloudy or anything bad, but and I'm like, wow, this car feels like it's all over the place. And what was happening was I was in a brand new car, wasn't familiar with it, driving it while it was wet for the very first time, and not understanding everything about the car. The car was brand new. The dealership really didn't tell us much. We didn't ask either. But the car was fighting the lanes, and I was trying to switch lanes, and I didn't understand what the car was actually doing at the time. So it's a pro California. We're about to cross the border. Number 3 thing I want to talk about is the interior of this car. Yes, it's a BMW. Well, is it a BMW? Yes, it's a BMW themed interior. Everything, the center console, all this stuff here is BMW. And one of our first modifications on the car when we were driving back from Utah was we pulled out the little tray above the holder area where you're supposed to charge your phone. You can't even get your phone in there in your hand at the same time. So we were able to just yank it out. That was our first modification on this car. Something that's kind of annoying is on the steering wheel is, and I don't know if this is common, but this is like this on our Focus RS as well. It's even more annoying in that car. The radio function should be on the left-hand side of the steering wheel for a left-hand drive car. If you're changing gears, you got your hand on the shifter. If it was a manual transmission, which it's not, we already know that, you should be able to turn the volume up and down on the left-hand side. Mute it, change tracks. It's just kind of common. So for some reason, if this car was a right-hand drive car, we would be able to, if this car was a right-hand drive car, it would be perfect. We would be shifting with our left hand. We can control the radio as we're cruising, change the stations, do whatever we needed to do. So I find that kind of annoying about this car. Maybe it's just me. On the steering wheel also, there's paddle shifters. They're pretty cool. It's great if you're going in a straight line. I found I don't like using them. I actually like shifting down the gear shifter. Pull back for next gear up, push down to downshift. I found that it also holds the gear if you are using that mode versus the paddle shifter. So if you're driving along and you're using the paddle shifters, eventually the car will just automatically shift with the paddle shifters, and I believe it auto shifts if you take it all the way to red line. But the paddle shifters themselves are kind of annoying. If you are using them and you are turning, they just don't go down far enough. We actually have paddle shifters that we're working on for this vehicle. I'm sure they're going to be just like any other BMW. Looks like the shape is the same of some of the other cars, but we are going to work on some shifters, so we'll keep you updated on those. But that's my gripe about the interior, not to mention that there is no space. So I'm on my way to California. I got a camera bag, I got my backpack, I got some products that we're going to be test fitting while we're there in the back, and then just my personal stuff. I emptied my pockets out, so I took my wallet out. I stuck that where the cell phone charging unit is. I got my AirPods down there. I got a GoPro, and it's just full. And there's no place to put stuff. I don't know if you can see it, but I got this thing. It barely fits in the cup holder, and it gets in the way of your elbow in a way. So it's just limited space. There's a little teeny nook behind the 2 cup holders, but it's still really, really small. I end up using the driver's seat to throw all my junk on. Yeah, that's the gripe about the interior. Something else about this car is pretty annoying, and I don't even think you can see it here, is the visor. It's ridiculously small. We do have a very short windshield, but the visor will not flip to your left or right. So not terrible today. I'm driving into the sun, but it's a sports car. So they kind of overlook some of those things. It's not your Toyota Camry where they look at what the everyday driver is looking for, the soccer mom if she's driving a car. So another thing on the list. Major sun issues, so they can't really see me. So I'll get back to you guys after the sun sets. both have red accents on the interior. They're going to come with a red center console, red bucket seats, red accents on the steering wheel, and a red trim on the door. Now I said door, it's only on the driver's door. The passenger door is not. The Japanese model, or any European models, it's the opposite, obviously. So their driver's side has red next to their door, and the passenger side, which would be this side of the car, would have black. So kind of weird. It's a whole cockpit feeling that they were trying to say they were going for and stuff. But yeah, I would have preferred to have some red on that door. I'm not a big fan of the red steering wheel and the red door itself. I would love the car just to come with red bucket seats. So maybe I'll do a trade with somebody. If you're interested, let me know. I'll trade all the red interior pieces for black. So anyways, that's something noted about the interior. We just got past Barstow, or going through it right now. One thing I just remembered, I don't know where this fits on the list, but the lights in here, because this car is got BMW DNA, the headlights themselves, if you have them set on auto and you're driving, there's no way you can actually turn the headlights off, just turn the parking lights on. The car has to be at a complete stop to do a headlight change. I don't know who wants to do that, but you know, sometimes you're rolling in an event or whatever, you want to just put your parking lights on and kill your headlights. You can't do it. You can't hit the parking light button. You get an error message on the dash. It says parking light not while driving. Same thing with the off. I can't even turn the headlights off. So just kind of a funky thing to get used to. Yeah, two buttons next to the parking light on the lower left and the lower right buttons only work when the car is parked. The car is actually parked and in park. Those are some European standard where you can turn the left parking lights on the car or the right. It has to do with if you're like hanging out in a parking spot, parallel park, you can turn your one light on, leave the car, lock it, it'll leave that light on so no one comes inside and swipes your car. So that's kind of interesting and cool. I don't know how much we would use it here, but the lights are kind of annoying in this car. And they do an up and down adjustment. You know, when you turn the car on, you see the lights go up and down, but they don't do the steering wheel follow, if you will. If you turn the wheel left or right, they don't follow the actual road, which is kind of annoying. It's got to Victorville, so cruising through there right now. Other things that are annoying about this car is no automatic trunk release, besides the key fob in the door. Other people have spoke about that. And plus, there's no actual real handle. You got to put your hand on the paint. It's going to end up wearing and scratching there. Just like, door cups. That's why they put those door cup protectors in there. Other annoying thing is the horn. It's just annoying. Sounds like a little Peugeot or something really weird and cheap. So I don't know where they went with that. I think even I saw some stuff on the forums that BMW horn's better than this, so I don't know why they didn't transfer this to this vehicle. Plus the power cord for the phone is just annoying as can be. It's just sitting right in an annoying spot. The last thing that's already been spoken about all over the place is the buffering. So if both windows go down, so at different speeds, the car will just have an annoying wind buffer to it. It's not that bad right now. I'm at 63. It comes and goes, so I don't know if the microphone's picking it up or not. With the windows down here, we're doing 85. Right now I'm putting the passenger side up. So I got it really, really bad right now. Maybe the mic's picking that up. That's just the driver's side down. The Apple Play, if you want to switch back and check your map out or do something like that, and you're listening to satellite radio, it'll switch it back over to Apple Play and start playing whatever on your iTunes accounts and stuff like that. And so that's pretty annoying. I don't know if it's just a glitch in the software, if they'll fix it, but terrible. I actually turned off the Apple Play. I do enjoy Apple Play in other cars, but this car, as I was going back through and trying to go back to my map, and it works fine, but if you want to switch and look at it and then switch it back, it's just super annoying. It'll take you off XM and all that stuff. One note on the radio, make sure your radio is not set on surround mode. That has a huge effect on the way the sound is. It's not awesome. The subs, they're pretty weak. They definitely could come up with something better. I heard there's someone coming out with a sound system upgrade or something for it. We will probably list it on our site as soon as we know anything about that. So another annoying thing about the vehicle is when you use the wipers or it's raining, it leaves a whole trail down the side of the car. Your car can be perfectly clean, and obviously you are putting water on to clean the dirt off the wipers, but it'll come back off your windshield and it'll just end up, over the curves of the wheel wells in the back and stuff, and it's quite annoying. I think that about sums it up. Gives you guys a heads up if you're interested in purchasing this car. Those are some things you should be aware of. The car is amazing overall. Like I said, it's very comfortable to drive. The gas mileage is really decent, especially for long trips. I'm super comfortable in this car. Lack of storage space. It's not a car to go on like really long trips. You don't have a lot of space. So it depends what your intent is for purchasing this car. If you are getting it just for pure fun and enjoyment, you're gonna have a blast with this car. The sport mode, turn the VSC off. I mean, the car is a blast. We'll light up the tires. Short shifting into second, it spin them and gets you a little sideways and stuff. It's quite fun to drive. It's pretty enjoyable. Hopefully that explains everything about the car that I found was annoying. Tell us what else you want to see about this car. What do you want to know about? You want us to demo something, show you something? Leave a comment below. If you're interested in how the car will automatically put itself in park if you open the door. Just weird things that the car does do. We can do a full overview of a lot of the features and functions. Again, subscribe, stay tuned for more updates on the Toyota Supra. We'll be doing a slew of installs on the BRZ and the WRX soon, so make sure you subscribe to our channel, and thanks, and I appreciate it.